On March 2023, a federal judge in California looked at a pile of legal papers. The number at the bottom was $80 million. $80 million. That was the price a company called Pink Energy agreed to pay because they were caught lying to thousands of American families. But here is the scary part. Pink Energy is just one name. The trap they used is still active, right now, probably in your neighborhood. Imagine it as a quiet Tuesday evening. You are sitting in your living room. You hear a knock at the door. You aren't expecting anyone? You open the door and see a young man. He is wearing a bright green vest and a friendly smile. He looks like he works for the city or the government. He doesn't try to sell you anything. Instead, he asks a simple question. Are you still paying for electricity? He tells you about a new government program. He says that because you are a good homeowner, you qualify for free solar. No money down, no monthly payments to the electric company. In fact, he says the government will give you a check for thousands of dollars just for signing up. It sounds like a dream. In a world where groceries and gas prices are going up every day, free power feels like a life raft. You think to yourself, what do I have to lose? But according to FTC filings, this man isn't a government worker. He is a highly trained closer. His only job is to get your signature on an iPad before he leaves your porch. And that signature? It isn't for a free program. It's for a massive high-interest bank loan that you will be paying for the next 25 years. Let's talk about Pink Energy. Before they changed their name, they were called Power Home Solar. They were one of the biggest solar companies in America. They had thousands of employees. They had commercials during the Super Bowl. They even partnered with famous NFL teams. To the public, they looked like a massive success story. They were the faces of the green energy revolution. They promised to save the planet and save you money at the same time. According to court records, the company grew at a lightning-fast pace. Between 2014 and 2022, they expanded into 15 different states. They were installing solar panels on hundreds of roofs every single week. On the outside, it was a billion-dollar empire. But on the inside, the foundation was rotting. The company wasn't focused on making good solar panels. They were focused on one thing, the contract. You see, in the world of white-collar crime, the product doesn't matter. The solar panels could be made of cardboard for all they cared. The real money wasn't coming from the sun. The real money was coming from the banks. How do you convince a smart, hardworking person to sign a loan for $80,000 in their own driveway? You use a psychological trick called the urgency hook. The salesman tells you that the government grant expires at midnight. Or he says there is only one spot left in your zip code. He shows you a professional-looking chart on his iPad. The chart shows your electric bill going up to $500 a month in the future, while the solar payment stays low. According to investigators at the FTC, these charts were often completely fake. They used estimated numbers that were designed to scare you. Then comes the iPad. They don't give you a 40-page paper contract to read. They show you a small screen. They say, just sign here to confirm your roof is strong enough for the panels. When you sign that screen, you aren't just confirming an inspection. You are signing a promissory note. You are telling a bank that you agree to borrow $50,000, $80,000, or even $100,000. The salesman leaves. You feel happy. You think you just saved your family thousands of dollars. But according to Department of Justice filings in similar cases, the nightmare is just beginning. 3 weeks later, the panels are on your roof. They look beautiful. You wait for your electric bill to disappear. But then, the first envelope arrives in the mail. It isn't from the solar company. It's from a bank you have never heard of. You open it, and your heart stops. The bill says you owe $350 a month. You call the electric company, thinking there is a mistake. They tell you that your regular bill is still $200 because the solar panels aren't producing enough power. They haven't even been turned on yet. Now, instead of free electricity, you have two bills. You try to call the salesman. The number is disconnected. You call the company. They put you on hold for 3 hours. This is what happened to thousands of customers of Pink Energy. They were stuck with broken equipment, huge debts, and a company that stopped answering the phone. According to regulatory filings, by the time Pink Energy agreed to that $80 million settlement in 2023, they had already filed for bankruptcy. The money was gone. The leaders were moving on to new projects, and the homeowners? They were left in the dark. But here is the most important thing you need to understand today. Pink Energy was not a one-time mistake. They were just the first ones to get caught. Right now, there are hundreds of other companies using the exact same script. They use the same banks. They use the same high-pressure tactics. They even use the same iPad apps to hide the truth. Why did the banks allow this? Why did the government let it go on for so long? And how can you tell if the man at your door is a legitimate green energy expert or a white-collar predator? We are going inside the hidden machine. We will show you exactly how the banks and the solar companies work together to create a debt trap that is worth over $50 billion. You will see the internal documents that prove they knew exactly what they were doing. If you have solar panels, or if you are thinking about getting them, you cannot afford to miss what comes next. You might be wondering, how does a small solar company with no history get a bank to approve a $50,000 loan for a retired teacher in 30 seconds? The answer is a hidden partnership that the industry calls Fintech integration. Here is the core mechanism. According to SEC filings, these solar companies aren't actually energy companies. They are marketing machines. They don't make the panels. They don't even employ the installers in many cases. They are essentially lead generators for big banks. When you sign that iPad, the solar company gets a finder's fee from the bank, sometimes as high as $5,000 to $10,000 per customer. The bank gets a high-interest loan that is backed by your house. If you don't pay, they can put a lien on your property. This means they can legally stop you from selling your home until they get their money. It is a low-risk, high-reward game for the billionaires, and a high-risk, no-reward trap for you. Let's look at the math that Pink Energy and others hide in the fine print. According to consumer protection lawsuits, when you are quoted a price for solar, say $40,000, that isn't the real price. Hidden inside that number is something called a dealer fee. This is a massive charge, sometimes 30% of the total loan that the bank charges the solar company to buy down the interest rate. Think about that. You think you are paying for solar panels. In reality, you are paying $12,000 just for the privilege of getting the loan. You are starting your journey $12,000 in debt before a single screw is turned on your roof. Why would anyone agree to this? Because they never see it. The salesman shows you a monthly payment that looks low. He never shows you the total principal or the dealer fee. According to State Attorney General investigations, many salesmen were specifically told to hide these documents or scroll past them quickly on the iPad. Now, we have to talk about the giants in the room. Names like GoodLeap, Sunlight Financial, and Mosaic. These aren't your local corner banks. These are massive financial fintech firms that have poured billions of dollars into solar loans. According to regulatory disclosures, these banks gave the solar companies portals. This allowed a 19-year-old salesman to run a hard credit check on a homeowner while standing in their driveway. Did the banks check if the solar system actually worked? No. Did they check if the house was too old for panels? No. Did they check if the homeowner could actually afford the $300 monthly payment? Hardly. According to DOJ filings and related financial fraud cases, the banks had green energy targets to hit. They wanted to show Wall Street that they were investing in sustainable energy. As long as the loans were being signed, the money kept flowing. They treated your home like a line on a spreadsheet. How do they keep the lie going? They use a script designed by psychologists. According to internal training manuals leaked from solar companies, salesmen are taught to use fear of the utility company. They tell you the electric company is evil and is planning to double your rates next year. They call it the utility tax. Then they present themselves as the hero who is there to save you. If you ask too many questions, they use the price pivot. They move the conversation away from the total cost and focus only on the daily cost. It's only the price of a cup of coffee a day, they say. But that cup of coffee adds up to $85,000 over 25 years. According to FTC records, some salesmen even went as far as e-signing for the customers. They would take the iPad back, saying they were fixing a glitch, and then sign the loan documents themselves. The homeowner wouldn't know they were in debt until the first bill arrived a month later. This is the most brilliant and evil part of the mechanism: the solar burn. These companies know that eventually the complaints will start. The panels will fail. The lawsuits will arrive. So, they have a plan. According to bankruptcy court filings, many of these companies are designed to fail. They spend millions on marketing, collect the dealer fees and commissions, and then, when the legal pressure gets too high, they declare bankruptcy. Just like Pink Energy did. The owners walk away with millions in personal accounts. The salesman moved to a new company with a new name, but the homeowner is left with the debt. The bank doesn't care if the solar company is bankrupt. You still owe the bank. This brings us to the most terrifying part of the hidden machine, something we call zombie debt. When a company like Pink Energy goes under, your warranty disappears. If a panel breaks or your roof starts leaking because of a bad installation, there is no one to call. But your loan. That loan is alive. It is sold from one bank to another. According to financial industry reports, these loans are often bundled together and sold to investors on Wall Street, just like the subprime mortgages that caused the 2008 crash. You are paying for a green dream that has turned into a financial nightmare. And the people who built the machine are already looking for their next victim. But how do we stop them? And what happens when the FBI finally knocks on their door? We will look at the massive investigations taking place right now, and most importantly, we'll show you how to protect your home from becoming a line on a banker's balance sheet. For years, the leaders of companies like Pink Energy thought they were untouchable. They flew in private jets and sat in luxury offices. But in late 2022, the green dream hit a brick wall. According to FTC and state attorney general filings, thousands of complaints started flooding in. People weren't just complaining about high bills. They were reporting house fires from bad wiring and roofs that were literally collapsing under the weight of the panels. Then came the liquidity crisis, when the banks saw that thousands of homeowners were refusing to pay for broken systems. They stopped sending money to the solar companies. Without new bank money, the marketing machine died in weeks. On September 2022, Pink Energy suddenly fired 500 employees. A few weeks later, they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The success story was over. But according to bankruptcy court records, the owners had already moved millions of dollars into other businesses before the doors locked. The government didn't just watch. According to Department of Justice DOJ announcements, federal investigators began looking into lending fraud. They wanted to know if the solar companies had lied to the banks and if the banks had looked the other way. In March 2023, a federal judge approved that $80 million settlement. It was a massive victory for the FTC, but for the victims, it was a drop in the ocean. $80 million sounds like a lot, but when you divide it among 20,000 victims with $80,000 loans, it doesn't even cover the interest. According to SEC reports, the government is now looking at the fintech lenders. They are asking, did these banks help create a subprime solar bubble? If the banks are found guilty of predatory lending, it could change the entire American solar industry forever. What is the lesson here? According to financial analysts, this isn't a solar problem. It is an incentive problem. When a salesman gets a $5,000 bonus for a signature, he has no reason to tell the truth. When a bank gets a dealer fee of $12,000 upfront, they have no reason to check the quality of the panels. The system is designed to reward the deal, not the customer. This is what we call concentration. Risk. The banks put all their money into these high-pressure marketing firms because they grew fast. They ignored the red flags because the profits were too high. It is the same overconfidence bias that we saw during the 2008 housing crash. If a salesman knocks on your door today, you are now armed with the truth. According to consumer protection experts, here are the 3 rules you must follow. Rule 1: never sign on the same day. A real government program doesn't expire in 20 minutes. Rule 2: demand a paper contract. If they won't let you read it without an iPad, walk away. Rule 3: check the total principal. Don't look at the monthly payment. Look at the final number you will pay after 25 years. If you are already in the trap, don't give up. Contact your state attorney general immediately. Many states have lemon laws for solar. If the company lied about free solar, the contract might be legally void. Solar energy is a great technology. It can save the planet and it can save you money. But when white-collar predators hide behind green energy, the only thing they are looking to save is their own bank account. Pink energy fell. Others will fall too. But the debt machine is already moving into new areas like home improvements and heat pump scams. They change the name, but the trap stays the same. That is why the Torven report exists. We don't just follow the news, we follow the money. We show you the hidden mechanisms so you can stay one step ahead of the people who want to turn your home into their profit. Your financial safety depends on knowing the how and the who. If you found this report helpful, stay with us. Our next investigation will expose how the same banks are now targeting a different part of your life. Don't let them catch you in the dark. Stay safe. Stay informed. This is the Torven Report.